Yeah, I mean, he's hit a whole lot of home runs in his career. But you know what? Lindy's got one of the nicest, purest swings you're going to find in all of baseball, you know, and against right-handers, there's not a better hitter out there. And he had that stretch early in his career where he hit a lot of home runs. He hit a bunch last year, but when he came into the game and when he got to the big leagues, going through our minor leagues, he was a natural hitter, a good line drive, just a pure hitter, you know. And then of course the home runs came, but you can't start thinking about those things if he catches it right. I mean, he's got good power to all fields. I mean, he's hit some in the last couple of years to left center like he did today, and he's just missed some, you know, taking some balls to the wall. A lot of guys can't do that. A lot of guys can't hit the ball with authority to the opposite field, you know. So, but he doesn't need to get caught up in that. But he's against right-handers. There's not a better hitter in baseball, really.
In a similar vein, and I'll throw in the caveat that I know he hasn't played the same number of games, but if you look at his numbers, average is up, OBP is up, slugging is down a little bit.
Are we talking about
Lind?
Okay.
Walk rate is up, or the same. Strikeout rate is down. I mean, overall, it looks like he's having a better season. I mean, how would you look at this year compared to last year, noting the drop in home runs?
Yeah, I mean that's the only difference. I mean, normally when you see that at a guy's that big a drop, they're really scuffling. You know, they have trouble doing anything. But that's not the case. You know, like I said, he's a pure hitter. He's got a great feel of what the pitchers try to do to him. You know, he's one of those guys too. He's going to take a strike most of the time, but you know he can hit the ball the other way with the best of them. And you know, I can't say enough about what kind of hitter he is. Yeah, everybody would like to hit more home runs, but you know, anytime they get caught up in that, you know, that things usually go south.
Two questions. What did you think of Dickey tonight, and what do you make of how the rotation's been pitching in the last few weeks?
Shoot. Well, I mean, the rotation been on some kind of roll. They've been great, you know, and we score or we win, you know. I mean, that's the way it is with most teams, I guess. So, but yeah, they've been on that nice stretch. I don't know how many games it is now, that 6+ or whatever it is, and they really held up their end of the bargain. You know, all 5 of them. And one thing that's done too is it's allowed our bullpen to, you know, kind of regroup a little bit and keep those guys fresh. And you know, Dickey was great today. You know, but he's been individually he's been on a great roll too. You know, you got to remember too. It's not, you know, when you play interdivision, there's so many games against same teams every year. You know, so there's really, they know everything about us and we know everything about them. So it can be tough to face the opponents. You know, you face them so much, and of course he's a different type guy. Don't get me wrong. But I mean that makes it tough on pitchers. So you know, what these guys have been doing, particularly against interdivision teams, is that much more impressive.
It's 19.
19.
Cecil got himself into a bit of a jam and then got himself out of it. And I was just wondering what was going through your mind at that point, or just talk about that inning. Was Cecil maybe one more ball away from getting lifted by you at that point? Was Longoria?
Well, we had Mora going in case, you know, things were starting to really get out of hand there for Meyer's spot. But, you know, Cecil, you look what he's done in the last few weeks. I mean, he's been as good as anybody you're going to find him. He's been on some kind of roll, you know. Good start, and then he kind of hit a little bit of a lull in the middle of the season, and he's really picked it up. And, you know, he's got one of the best curveballs you're going to find in the business, and that's kind of his go-to pitch. He throws it any time, and can't say it's unhittable, but it's close to unhittable. I mean, it's that good. And that's his wipeout pitch. When he needs a big out, he needs a strikeout. That's what he does. And of course, he ended up getting the double play, which was big, you know, to bail us out. But I mean, it got hairy. Anytime you get that point in the game, you know, and they get some guys on base. I mean, especially in these ballparks where the ball flies. I mean, you can hit a ball, maybe hit a home run, and now you tie a game and something like that. So, but he's been outstanding.
Gibby, can you talk a little bit about that crazy little rally in the third inning that you didn't hit a ball hard at all?
Well, Kenny, I mean, that's the way it goes sometimes. You get, sometimes you got to, if you look at this season for the major league level, I've seen more crazy things happen on bunts than I've probably ever seen in my life. So maybe you need to bunt more. I don't know. But we've benefited against some, a few teams. The ball gets, if it's not picked up right away or if it's in a pretty good spot, the fielder's got to rush. And now if you got a guy that can run a little bit, I mean, it's putting some heat on him, and you get some of those crazy angles, and you just hope, you hope the guy's not out of the baseline, and you get banged for one of those things. But that kind of opens everything up, and then of course, Batista trying to get the guy over and in with no outs, scored it up the middle, kicked off Hellickson's glove, so that kind of, you need that sometimes,